Notice the people who never need to announce themselves, who never need to explain their worth, defend their choices, or fill every silence with words, who walk into a room and say very little, and yet somehow everyone in that room knows exactly who they are. These are not quiet people because they have nothing to say. They are quiet because they have understood something most people spend their entire lives missing. That silence is not emptiness, it is power, and the person who has mastered it holds an advantage over everyone around them that no amount of noise can match. The Stoics built an entire philosophy around this truth. Marcus Aurelius governed the most powerful empire in the world, largely through deliberate restraint of speech. Epictetus taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Seneca wrote that speech reveals character and silence protects it. In this video, I'm going to show you why the strongest people say very little and what their silence is actually doing while everyone else is talking. Write in the comments right now, I speak with purpose or not at all. Say it before this video ends. Reason 1. Silence is where clarity lives. Most people think out loud, they process through speech, they talk their way toward understanding, sharing half-formed thoughts, incomplete conclusions, opinions they have not yet fully examined. The problem with this is not the thinking, it is the exposure. Every word you speak before a thought is fully formed is a window into a mind that has not yet decided, and people, whether consciously or not, register that uncertainty. They sense the incompleteness, and they respond to it accordingly. The Stoics practiced something different. They thought first, completely, quietly, and then they spoke. Once, clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote that before you open your mouth, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Does it improve upon the silence? If the answer to any of these is no, the Stoic choice is always the same. Say nothing. Reason 2. Every word you speak gives something away. Language is not just communication, it is revelation. When you speak, you reveal what you know and what you do not know, what you value and what you fear, where your confidence lives and where it does not, what you are certain of and what you are still working out. The person who speaks constantly is constantly revealing, constantly giving others the information they need to understand, predict, and in some cases, manipulate them. The person who speaks rarely gives away very little. They become, in the eyes of everyone around them, something harder to read, something more complete, something that commands a different kind of attention. Epictetus was direct about this. He said that most of what we say in a day serves no purpose except to make us feel less alone with our own thoughts, and that the cure for this is not more conversation. It is a deeper relationship with silence. Because the person who is comfortable in silence does not need to fill it, and that comfort, that ease with emptiness, is one of the most powerful signals of inner strength a person can broadcast. Reason 3. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. Here is something the strongest communicators in history understood intuitively. When you say nothing, other people fill the space, and what they fill it with tells you everything you need to know about them. Their assumptions, their anxieties, their need for approval, their comfort with uncertainty, their true feelings about you and about the situation. All of it surfaces in the silence you refuse to fill. Marcus Aurelius used this deliberately throughout his reign. He would listen completely, without interrupting, without offering his opinion prematurely, and in that listening, in that patient, deliberate silence, the people around him would reveal far more than they intended. The person who speaks first in a negotiation reveals their anxiety. The person who rushes to explain themselves reveals their guilt. The person who fills every silence with reassurance reveals their need for approval. The person who simply waits reveals nothing and learns everything. Reason 4. Your words carry more weight when they are rare. Think about the people in your life whose opinion you value most. Are they the ones who speak constantly? Who have something to say about everything? Who fill every conversation with their perspective? Or are they the ones who speak rarely but precisely? Who choose their words carefully? Who, when they finally say something, make you feel like the words were worth waiting for? Seneca wrote that the person who speaks on every subject masters none, and that the weight of a word is inversely proportional to how often it is used. When you speak less, each word you do speak carries more. People lean in. They listen differently. They treat your opinion not as another data point in an endless stream, but as something worth actually considering. This is not a performance. It is not a strategy for seeming important. It is simply the natural result of valuing your own words enough to use them carefully. If you want to be heard, speak less. The paradox is real, and it works every time. Reason 5. Silence protects you from your own worst impulses. This is the one most people never consider. The words that have caused the most damage in your life, that you most regret saying, that created the most lasting harm to your relationships and your reputation, were almost certainly spoken in moments of strong emotion. In anger, in fear, in the desperate need to defend yourself, in the heat of an argument when winning felt more important than being wise. The Stoics called this the danger of the unconsidered word, and they considered it one of the most serious threats to a person's character and their relationships. Epictetus taught a simple practice. In moments of strong emotion, before you speak, take one breath. Ask yourself if what you are about to say serves the situation or only serves your immediate feeling. More often than not, in that one breath, the urgent need to speak dissolves. The words that seemed so necessary a moment ago reveal themselves as unnecessary, sometimes as harmful, sometimes as exactly what your enemy was hoping you would say. Silence in those moments is not weakness. It is the highest form of self-mastery available to you. Reason 6. The strongest people let their actions speak. There is a version of reputation that is built with words, with announcements, with explanations, with the constant management of how others perceive you. And there is a version that is built with actions, quietly, over time, without commentary. The second kind is the only one that lasts. Because words can be doubted, explanations can be questioned, announcements can be dismissed, but consistent action, repeated over months and years, builds something that no amount of criticism can dismantle. Marcus Aurelius never announced his virtue. He demonstrated it every day, in how he governed, in how he treated his enemies, in how he showed up during the hardest moments of his reign. And the reputation that created was not fragile. It was not dependent on whether people believed his words. It was built on what they had seen with their own eyes, what they had experienced firsthand. Build that kind of reputation, not with what you say about yourself, with what you do when no one is watching. Reason 7. Silence communicates confidence more than any words can. Discomfort with silence is one of the most reliable signals of insecurity that exists. Watch what happens in a conversation when silence falls. Most people rush to fill it. They say something, anything, to escape the emptiness, because silence feels like a verdict, like something is wrong, like they are not enough to simply exist in the quiet. The person who is genuinely secure in themselves does not experience silence this way. They sit in it comfortably. They let it breathe. They do not feel the need to prove anything with words because they are not depending on the conversation to confirm their worth. And that comfort, that ease, communicates something to everyone in the room that no speech ever could. It says, "I know who I am. I do not need this conversation to tell me. I am here because I choose to be, not because I need something from you." That is the signal of genuine confidence, and it is entirely silent. Reason 8. What you do not say defines you as much as what you do. Discretion is a virtue the modern world has almost completely forgotten. In an era where everything is shared, where every opinion is broadcast, where every experience is documented and performed for an audience, the person who keeps things private has become genuinely rare. And rarity, as the Stoics understood, creates value. The person who does not share everything, who keeps their plans quiet until they are complete, who does not announce their struggles to anyone who will listen, who processes their pain privately and presents their results publicly, that person is operating at a different level. Seneca wrote that we should never reveal our goals to those who have not earned the right to know them. not because secrecy is virtuous in itself, but because unearned exposure invites unearned interference. When you keep your becoming quiet, you protect it. You give it room to develop without the weight of other people's expectations, doubts, or advice. Build in silence, launch in silence, and let the results do the announcing. Reason 9. Silence is the language of the person who has nothing to prove. This is where everything comes together. The person who speaks constantly is usually, beneath the words, trying to prove something. Their intelligence, their value, their right to be in the room, their version of events, their superiority over someone else. The person who is silent has already resolved these questions internally. They know their value. They do not need it confirmed by the room. They know their worth. They do not need it reflected back by the people around them. And that resolution, that inner settledness, is what true strength actually looks like. It does not announce itself. It does not need to. It simply exists, quietly, completely, unmoved by whether anyone notices. Marcus Aurelius returned to this truth again and again in his private writing. The goal of all the Stoic work, the self-examination, the discipline, the practice, was not to become impressive to others. It was to become sufficient to yourself. The person who is sufficient to themselves does not need the world's noise to feel complete. They have found something quieter, something more permanent, something that no amount of other people's words can disturb. That is the strength of silence. That is the Viastoica, the Stoic path. And it begins the moment you realize that the most powerful thing you can do in almost any situation is simply this: say nothing and mean everything. If this video resonated with something deep in you, subscribe to Viastoica. Every week, ancient wisdom that changes how you see the world. Write in the comments one situation where your silence would have served you better than your words. I read every single one. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. 2,000 years ago, still true today. See you on the path.